Hi and welcome back to my channel. As Zulu Full-Time Mama here. Welcome back to the channel, and if you are new, welcome. Today I am bringing you Zulu language video, and today we're gonna be learning months in Zulu, the names of the month in isiZulu. Ngiyanimukela nonke kuleli khasi lethu lapho sifunda khona isiZulu, asiqhubeke sifundisane ndawonye. Ngiyajabula ukuthi niphinde nabuya kuleli khasi. Siyabonga kakhulu. Hlalani phansi ninethezeke sizoqala. Well, before we start, maybe let me just give you a little bit of background on our calendars, the African calendar. We have something called the African calendar, and our year starts in a different month than the people from the northern hemisphere, because we are from the southern hemisphere. And I'll give you just a bit of a background of how that came about. So as you know, that as Africans, we are very much into farming, and in order for us to be successful when it comes to farming, you have to know your months and your seasons, so that you'll be able to start your crop and be able to harvest a good crop. So that's how the African calendar came about or came into use. So the first calendar was based on the movement of the moon around planet Earth, and it takes 28 days for the moon to complete its cycle around our Earth. So the moon cycle proved to be too erratic to predict with certainty about its position. It was then decided to also compute our movement around the sun. That resulted in a year comprising of 12 months of 30 days, making a year of 360 days. The other 5 days were assigned to birth of our first spiritual ancestor. And then the solar year in the southern hemisphere begins in September on the day of the spring equinox and ends in August. It consists of 4 seasons: summer, winter, spring, and autumn. The solar transition through the imaginary line of the equator starts on 21st to 23rd September as the sun completes its journey from the northern hemisphere. On the 23rd, the sun moves 1 degree southwards, and that marks the beginning of a new cycle for the southern hemisphere, and that is called the African New Year's Day. And if you want to know more about all the information I just gave you, you can get this information from the Kemet or African Royal Calendar. There is a book that was written by Mkhulu Nsingiza that you can get your hands on. There you'll find all the information you need about the months and how they came about, and I mean everything and anything there is to know about the months according to our African calendar. January is uMasingana. Umasingana. And that means let us search. And during this time, Africans or the people that have crops will start searching for crops that are ripe, and usually it will be your pumpkins. So that is how Masingana came about. because bayasinga, umasingana. February is uNhlolanja, uNhlolanja, and that is inspecting dogs. Nhlolanja, inspecting dogs. This is when the dogs begin mating and the owners, they start inspecting which dogs are ready. So February is uNhlolanja. Inja is dog. March is undasa. Ndasa. And that means well fed. Ndasa it means well fed. This is when there is food abundance and there is no lack for food. There is more food than anything else during that time. April is umbasa. Mbasa. Mbasa. And that is sweeping the threshing grounds. During this time, this is when kettle's satiated. They just lie down in the ground and they sort of appear sick. But they will find that around April mostly the cows will just be lying down on the ground and they don't look well fed or well. So April is mbasa, mbasa. May is untlaba, ntlaba, ntlaba. Ntlaba is an aloe plant. And during this time or during this month, this is when the aloe plants start to bloom. They looking more greener. Some they start showing those orangey flowers, and they are just ripe as well and blooming. June is untlangulana. Ntlangulana. Untlangulana. And that means scattering. And during the month of June, there is so much wind and it blows, it starts blowing the leaves off the trees and the ground, and it's called ntlangulana, scattering, because leaves are blowing off the trees. Untlangulana. July is untulikazi. Untulikazi. Ntuli is dust. In July, there is a lot of dust. And during the month of July, winds blow up dust. It's very windy and dusty everywhere. And I remember back in the time, around this time, we would have to clean up the house almost every time. And then you turn around, there is dust everywhere. It will look like you haven't done anything. So July is untulikazi. August is uncwaba. August is uncwaba, which means glossy. And during this time, there's new grass. If I remember correctly, the cows and the goats, they will send them there to eat. So they'll be allowed to graze there for a few weeks. And after that, they are taken out and they start fires, which is field fires, to burn it down so that they can start with preparation of that land for starting to grow crops again. So during August, that is when the grass or the whole field starts to become green. That is after they had burned down the fields. So it's new grass after field burning. September is umandulo. Mandulo. And September, that's when we have a new year, African calendar. So mandulo is cultivation. That's when the farming season starts. And this month was known as Umpandu, but it had to be changed to Umandulo out of respect for Uking Mpande. So September is Umandulo. That's when farming season starts. And that is the month of the African New Year. October is Umfumfu. October is Mfu. And it refers to the blooming of flowers or the growth of maize or sorghum. It's the blooming of flowers or the growth of maize or sorghum. Mfu. November is Lwezi. Lwezi. A Lwezi is a species of frog hopper. This is called Lwezi because of the influx of insects that feast on spring leaves. The influx of insects that feast on spring leaves. December is Uzibandlela. Uzibandlela. Zibandlela is ignore the path. And what usually happens is the grass starts to grow over the roads or over the walking path, and you start getting confused as to where are you actually supposed to be walking because there's so much grass growing over into the walk path or the road. Okay, now just a quick recap. January is Umasingana. February is Nhlolanja. March is Ndasa. April is Mbasa. May is Untlaba. June is Untlangulana. July is Untulikazi. August is Uncwaba. September is Umandulo. And October is Umfumfu. November is Lwezi. December is Uzibandlela. We have come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of learning the months in Zulu. As we have seen, these months carry deep meaning that connects us to nature, the seasons, and the lives of our people. Learning them is not just about language, it's the way of honoring and embracing the spirit of Ubuntu. If something resonated with you today, keep it close to your heart and continue exploring the richness of the Zulu language and way of life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep learning together. Thank you and see you again soon. Stay well. Siyabonga kakhulu ngokuhamba nathi kulo hambo lapha sifunda khona izinyanga ngesiZulu. Njengoba sibonileke izinyanga zethu zinezincazelo ejulile ezixhumanisa imvelo, izikhathi nezimpilo zethu nje jikelele impilo zawo wonke umuntu. So ke ukufunda nje isiZulu kusibuyisela ekuthaneni sikwazi ukuthi sihloniphe thina, sihloniphe amasiko ethu kanye nokuthi sihloniphe nje laba sebehambele indlela baze baya ngale kwelamathongo. Siyabonga kakhulu ngokuhlalisana kanye nathi. Uma ke khona okufundile namuhla, ngiyacela ukuthi ugcine lokho enhlizweni yakho, uqhubeke ufundise nabanye ngokujula kolimi lwethu lwesiZulu. Bese uyalike uyasubscribe. Siyabonga kakhulu, asiphinde sibonane futhi kwi-video elandelayo.